Hello, my lovelies. We are live. It's Nevermind the Ballast. It's 6 p.m. It is Wednesday. Lovely. Good to see you, Laura. Just seen you've joined. A few of you other guys joining as well. Shaz Babes, how's it going? Catman, good to see you. It's good to see you all, guys. It's all good. Who have we got on today? We've got Tom Ingram on. What a ledge. Probably one of the hardest working British touring car drivers that I know that's on the grid. There's a lot of them, as in hard working ones. And Tom is one of the hardest working, along with Jack Goff as well. So a lot of hard working British touring car drivers on the grid. And it's amazing to have Tom on board tonight. So we've got loads of questions to ask him. I think sometimes, what have you put there? You need that haircut, mate. Oh yeah, cheers, boss. I do actually. It's not great, is it? I look like someone called me Matthew McConaughey out of Dallas Buyers Club before, which wasn't the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. But yeah, just a couple of things. One, I've just been in the bathroom to get rid of some toothpaste that I had on spot. Look at the size of that bad boy. So, does anyone else know how to get rid of a spot? It's not ideal, to be honest. So, yeah, bit of a pain. But anyway, it's sorted. Well, when I say it's sorted, it's not as big as it was. I'm just looking for Tom Ingram to join us. He's not messaged me, has he? I bet he has. Let's see. Probably not. Anyway, no, it's good to have Tom on board because he's a proper guy and he's got a good story to tell. I think he's one of these youngsters that's come through the ranks, through the Ginetta Juniors, that's had to really, fight for what he believes is right and to win in British touring cars as well. He's obviously come close to winning the title, which is absolutely sweet. But he's a top lad. Let's get him involved. You better not say anything about my spot or I'll kill him. But yeah, I do need me a cut. But listen, tonight, make sure you do ask us some questions. I know you always do, but I never get round to sorting out because it's just always so busy. But let's get Tom on board. Go live with Tom second, depending how good his internet connection is. But as I say, I hope you're all well. And it looks like lockdown, hopefully, might be.
Oh, look at that Swede, man.
I don't expect anything.
How that is, you've got a 5-head. Why is it so shiny, man?
Because I'm sweating, because I didn't think you were going to turn up then. I thought you were going to leave me hanging.
Well, I did think about it. I did think it would be quite funny to join in like 20 past.
Mate, don't.
And just watch you paddle.
You've not been in touring cars long enough for me to talk that long.
True, actually, yeah. No, that's very true. What are you drinking? What are you drinking, mate?
I've got a coffee on the go. Look at this. Look at that. Winging it.
You made a career out of that, haven't you?
I got this from one of the main guys at ITV, or one of the cloud-based guys who operates all the gallery and stuff, and he went, I've got something just for you. And he bought it for me. See my career? And he went, yeah, that's how everyone at ITV sees your career.
That's a cool story. I'm drinking a Belgian-based lager beer thing with, do you recognise this? You might recognise this. So whenever we go out to the States, we always have to get a koozie from anywhere we go. So I've got... Oh,
that is wicked. Where have you got that from? America?
Yeah, you see where that is, though? You might not be able to see it backwards. It's Pete's Dueling Piano Bar.
Oh, yeah. I've been there a few times, mate. How
cool.
Did you go when you went to Kota then?
Yeah.
That is so. Do you know all I ever get from people going that piano bar place is all the McLaren lads when I'm working with them. They just like the Spice Girls will be playing and they just send me loads of like random drunk videos. Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, I know that song, mate. I've heard it for about 50 years.
Why's that?
Oh, do you not know, mate? Don't give me any grief tonight. I'm in a good mood, mate, and I'm going to cut you some slack. Donald Trump's been on the phone. He said he wants his Make America Great Again hat back.
Oh, he's welcome to it, actually. It's only because I gave you a load of grief. Oh, my God, I've just sat in water. I gave you a grief for having a terrible Swede. Look at that. Did you see? I was on Knock Hill's Instagram. Look at that. I look like a 13-year-old who likes Evanescence or whatever the band was. Do you remember that?
Yeah, they were great. They were gothic, weren't they?
Yeah, I feel like I can kind of go for a bit of that. Or I can go
You
for like an emo flick and do all sorts of stuff with it. But I was on Instagram with Duncan.
Yeah.
Have a watch. I had pigtails.
You are kidding me. I heard you were on, but I wasn't around because you had Yuri on as well. Have you got Yuri with you, the dog?
Yuri, that was like Neil, the baby, off of Governance DC. Yuri, the dog. Where are you? He's probably eating cat poo somewhere. Yuri. Hey, come here, Spud. Say hello to him. Hey. Yuri's 3. Excuse my terrible socks. How cool are they? These are my Daniel Ricciardo honey badger socks, look.
Oh, I love Danny Ricciardo is my fave. Do you like him?
He's being very rude. What have we got? We've got some carrot peelings. Yuri, what's this? Sit. Say hello to everybody. Say wave. Wave to everybody. He says hello. Good boy.
Hey, I didn't realise he was an older dog. I thought he was a puppy. Is he a rescue dog or something?
He's only 3, but he was an ex-guide dog, so he was serving up until December.
Oh right. How did that come about?
Well, he got sacked because he's rubbish.
Is that really what happened?
Yeah. What happens if you're not very good?
What was he pulling people into random situations or something? Oh,
no, so he's got he was with a student up in Leeds, and he was getting a bit stressed out just by it all, and was starting weeing in the house and just doing daft stuff like that.
Is that you or the dog?
Both of us actually. We were both there at the same time, which is weird. But he was getting a bit stressed out and things like that. So they took him back, did a load of tests on him, what have you, and they found out he's got a slightly tight optic nerve. I don't really know what that means. I think it means he's got slight tunnel vision. I don't know. But as a pet, he's brilliant. He's awesome. He's such a dude. He hates cats. So how he was there, I reckon I've been absolutely stitched up royally here. I reckon he's never been to a guide dogs in his life. He hates cats and he loves water. Mate,
he just sounds like an absolute dream. I can imagine when you went to pick him up and the people were like, "See you later." They were just running off.
That's why they gave us a load of food to get rid of him as well. We don't want him back. Keep him. This is everything we've got.
Hey, listen, how's that going to work then with Yuri when you and your partner Laura are away quite a lot with the racing? Have you got anyone?
Yeah, so Laura's parents, and then because he's so easy, he'll go anywhere. He's really, really chilled. He's not high maintenance in at all. So next door neighbours said they'll have it. Anyone who meets him said, "Oh, we'll have him off you." I'm trying to let the circuit bring him along. I want to take him with me.
Hamilton does.
Exactly. What difference is that? He's allowed to do it. This chubby little cheek bugger's allowed to do it as well.
Have a word with Nicholas Hamilton, Lewis's brother. You might be able to.
That's a point. You might be able to. Yeah. How cool would that be to have Yuri just sat around in the garage? He'd love it.
Mate, he'd be better behaved than half the people that are probably watching this.
I got a funny story about that. Dogs at racetracks. Have you ever done Spa 25 hours? The fun.
Yes. In the Fun Cup. I've never done it. I've done a race in it, but not 25 hours yet.
It is awesome, and it's the best. It's the best thing I've ever done. It's just awesome fun. But in Spa, as you know, they're a bit weird out there with just allowing anything to go. So you do what you want. And they have this, before the race starts, they have this weird, you know what I mean by an umpire band? And they do all of that sort of weird stuff up and down with big trombones and all weird stuff like that. It got like that going on in the grid, which is bizarre. And there's dogs walking around on the grid. And it was like, right, we've got 5 minutes before the race starts. I think, right, winner. I'll go down, have a wee, get back in the car, and then go. So I'm running back up the grid to get back in the car and stand in dog poo. On the grid. On the grid, getting into the car.
You're kidding me.
So, you know when it's wet?
Yeah.
What do you always get your mechanics to do before you start?
I can't remember.
You wipe your feet, don't you? You get them to wipe the feet. So I said, I just stood in a bit of water on the way back. Would you mind wiping my feet?
I bet they loved you for that, mate.
Not happy. Not one bit.
He's random. Do you know what? When I went to Spa, I raced in Spa years ago in a one-make championship in like 2000. And we went to the restaurant and there was just dogs like under the table.
Yeah,
And
I love it.
they really have got a different, not perception. I think in the UK, we love dogs. You know, we all love dogs, but it just let them get away with anything. Like, it's amazing, isn't it?
It's brilliant. I think we should be allowed to do it here.
Oh, mate, honestly. Hey, listen, Alley Cat Page, I just said, how is the lockdown hair, Tom? I think she's just joined. Just show her that Justin Bieber locks, mate.
Hold on, let me go back into my 13-year-old Evanescence. Bring me to life. All that. There we go.
Oh, you know who you look like? You look like Tom Onslow Cole, but like with a problem. Like
hold on. I can do my Tom Onslow Cole. How's that?
Tom Onslow Bieber. Oh, mate, love it. On the note of your hat, actually, Ingram merch. This isn't an advert, but I'm going to ask you about it because a lot of drivers do try and sell their merchandise, but it's not an easy thing to do, is it? With Toka and all the stipulations and stuff. But you seem to do pretty well out of it, and your stuff looks mega. Everything I see always looks really cool on people around the track. You've got a big fan base when I walk around with ITV.
Thank you, mate. Yeah, I've worked kind of hard at it. Now, I've tried to take a little bit of a bit of a different route with it over the last, and this is kind of how the whole Tingham thing came about. Is no one else in the UK has really done that. If you want to call it the Valentino Rossi effect, if you want to call it that it's got it's a brand in itself, and that's where we've pushed the sort of the Tingham brand to be a brand in itself. So when you turn up to a racetrack, people want to go and buy Valentino Rossi stuff just because it looks good and it's cool stuff. That's kind of what we've tried to do with the Tingham stuff as well. And a lot of the stuff you could wear day to day. I mean, this, for all intensive purposes, is just a normal cap. People wouldn't know. But we've pushed it really hard and it goes really well and it's been really, really busy. And we have a trade stand at all the events and we have loads and loads of people come around and buy the stuff. And it's brilliant. And it's really weird at the same time to walk around seeing people wearing it because you're like, that was in my spare room a week ago. And now somebody's walking around with it at Brands Hatch. But it's really cool. It's really, really cool. And it's nice to see it. And we just want to keep growing it and getting it bigger and bigger and bigger. And this year we've kind of hooked up with New Era, who are the baseball cap people, to produce us 2 baseball caps and a bubble hat. And they've gone flying at the door. They've been really, really popular.
It's an amazing thing because, like you say, it does look good. And, just because it's you, it is an amazing thing. But still, it has to look good, doesn't it? And that's my main point when I speak to people about yourself is you're a businessman, not just somebody that, gets a grand here, 2 grand there. Can we get racing next weekend? It's big, big, big corporations that you deal with now. Ginsters, Hansford Sensors have always been one of your sponsors. Yeah. Toyota, the UK arm are heavily involved. You're having to develop a brand new Corolla from last year. And you're only 26, mate. I mean, have you always had that business acumen? Are you someone who went to college and learned about it? Or how did you
No, not at all. I think, similar to yourself, mate, if you're passionate about something, your passion comes through. So if you're genuinely passionate and see a value in what you do, it's such a easier thing to sell than when you're trying to flog a dead horse. And I've been very, very lucky over the years that I've met them at the right time. That's helped me meet that. And we've worked hard. We've worked very, very hard at it, but it's not become easy. I started doing a little bit of a different tactic at it back in 2010. So when I was doing Ginetta Juniors, we had no money to do it. We just couldn't afford to do it, really. And we had to work hard. And one of the things that I started to do is in everyone's local area, and this is a really good tip. So if there's anyone that's watching here that's starting to get out and wants to get a little bit of sponsorship, this is how I went about doing it. And you're not going to get much. You're not going to get 20,000, 100,000 pounds, but you might get 500 quid, £1,000, and it all tops up. And what I did is I searched my local area to find business networking events. And all it is It's hairdressers that turn up, and accountants, and a builder, and things like this. And all it is people turn up to say, "Oh, I'd like to get some local business." So I kind of approached about 3 or 4 when I was living back in High Wycombe and said, "Can I come and do a talk at one of your events?" And I was only, what would I have been, 15, 16? "Can I come and talk at one of your events?" "Yeah, we're always looking for people to talk." "Why not?" "Okay, cool." So I'd go along, have a chat, and you might get 500 quid out the evening just by meeting somebody, or somebody prints all your posters for you for free, or somebody goes, "Oh, I don't mind, buying some fuel for you for that," or doing something. And it's good for that. It's really, really good for just topping a little bit of money up, just getting a little bit of budget to go racing when your budgets are fairly low. The other thing it's really good for is getting your little black book. And that is the important thing. You need contacts. And it's all well and good, saying to people, "Oh, I want to have a logo on the side of the car." It's no good. It doesn't sell anything. You've got to be able to put more to it than that. But if your network is of 10 people, and those 10 people go out and chat to another 10 people, well, that's a lot of people that's spoken to. But imagine if your network was 200 people or 400 or 1,000 people, and each one of those 1,000 people then went and spoke to 10 people. That's how it all comes about. So it was just thinking outside the box back in the day, and just trying to do stuff a little bit differently. And it worked. I funded my 50% of my 2011 campaign at one meeting. It took me, I bet I got 25, 30 grand in maybe 15 minutes just by going to one of those. And I literally just did something. I thought, all that people can say is no. But if you don't ask, you're never going to know. And I've always been of that mentality. Laura gets really embarrassed by it because I'll just ask. Well, what are they going to say? No, they're not going to take your birthday off you, are they? It doesn't matter. So, I turned up at that meeting with my crash helmet and said, "Right, I'm trying to race this weekend. I've got no money. I'm going to put my crash helmet round, and I want you all to write how much you're going to put on your business card. Just drop it in your crash helmet. Hand it round." And everyone gets a bit embarrassed. "Well, I can't not give him some money. I'll give him 200 quid. I'll give him 500 quid. I'll give him 5 grand. I'll give him 4 grand. I'll give him 3 grand. Literally walked away. Within 15 minutes, I had 20 grand. There we go. Let's go.
That's unbelievable. I never knew that about you, mate. I never knew.
It's just thinking outside the box, isn't it? And in the last few years, obviously, the business has changed and has got bigger and bigger, and like you picked up on, the merch is getting bigger, and everything else goes like this. But it's the turning it in from Tom Ingram racing driver up to the next level. How do we make it bigger? How do we make it better? And as soon as we signed the Ginsters deal, it was like, bingo, this is it. This is exactly what we need. It's a big brand. It's great for the championship. It's great for us. But I've not done it alone. Laura, my girlfriend, is incredible and works absolutely tirelessly at it as well. So we're full time on it. It's what we do. As you know, I do a little bit of coaching and a little bit of driver coaching stuff on test days, but the majority of the stuff is sponsorship, and we're full time on it.
It's unbelievable. Do you think that's a negative though, to do with the driving, or does it just give you more passion to do it because you don't really get time to think about the driving? Because I remember seeing you at one of the last rounds, and me and the ITV crew, we went to the Specsavers truck with you because you were involved with those guys, and we were just getting a bit of media together, and it's massively important to you. But thinking, when's he going to do his data? When's he going to do this? When's he going to do that? When's he going to talk strategy? It's hard. It's not like back in the Super Tourer days when you pitched up, the team found all the money. The drivers find the money now, don't they?
Yeah, and I did a little plug for you. You can go and watch it on my YouTube channel. We've been doing these little Tingram vlogs and just doing a little bit of behind the scenes stuff about, what is sponsorship, what's in my kit bag, how do we look at data, all sorts of bits and pieces like that. And one of them we did was on sponsorship and on the commercial side of it. So it's on my YouTube channel. Go and check it out. But it's a good way to see. I got Kieran Hemsworth, who's MD of Ginsters, and got him on a Zoom meeting, and we just had a chat about sponsorship and little tips for people that are looking to get some money in and things like this. And yeah, it's hard. It is really, really hard. But I've kind of known no different. And at the same time, I actually really enjoy it. So, I like being busy. I like a race weekend being busy. It was great when, one of the best ones we had was Donington Park last year when we had that first race win, we had 4,500 people from Toyota, from the Burniston plant, all their family, all their friends. It was a big event. So I think on that day, I had something like 8 minutes of free time. And that's before I've gone to the toilet, been stopped for a photo, been stopped for an autograph. And it's busy. But you're so pumped up. You're so full of energy. You're so full of life. It just keeps you going. You don't get bored. It's brilliant. I would much rather it that than overthink things. And I'm a firm believer that sometimes you just got to let instincts kick in. And sometimes you can overanalyze and you can look into detail too much. Sometimes, and you'll have experienced this over the years. I bet you rocked up at a test day once, gone, and within the first 5 laps, set your fastest lap, and then not got within 3/4 of a second after that. You just can't find it because you're overthinking it. And that's the thing. You go away, you come back. Oh, I just found the time again. I don't know where it was. So much of that I kind of put into my race weekends as well. Of course, we put loads of preparation in, and of course we put our homework in, and you'll see that from the videos that we do the homework. But at the same time, you've got to let a little bit of that human side come through as well, and a little bit of that seat of your pants stuff.
Do you know, it's so interesting talking to you about that, because like you say, you go out, don't you, on a test day, and there's no pressure on. You're kind of just driving for fun for those first 4 or 5 laps. It's when you really have to analyse stuff, and you can start to just move away from it, can't you?
That's where I've been struggling with the sim stuff. With the sim stuff that I've been doing quite a bit of, I can get to the pace, but I can't match what the fast guys are doing. And there's a little bit of that is that hard, just graft at it, that you can, on a sim, if you're racing at it, do 12 hours testing if you want, and you can find every single little bit. But I don't want to do that. I want to do it how I would do my race weekends, because we don't get to find every single millionth of a second in every braking zone, in every apex, in every corner exit. It's by the seat of your pants. You can't shunt, because if you shunt, you're out for the next session. So there's so much more that you have to think about, and it's that seat of the pants stuff that I think is really important.
Yeah, it is. It's unbelievable, isn't it? And the time and the effort that goes into the sim stuff, mind blowing. I did a couple of races in it, and it just, I don't know where people get the time from, but the pros are unbelievable, aren't they?
They're just better. They're just better. And there's times that you kind of have to admit defeat and go, oh, well, it wouldn't be like that in reality. Doesn't matter. They're quicker. They're just better than me at it.
Unreal, isn't it? But as long as you can afford to say that it's cool, isn't it? Like you say, your bread and butter is racing a real car, and their bread and butter is racing the simulation, isn't it? And there's
exactly
good business in that, though, for them, isn't there?
You know what? It's crazy that the investment that goes into it. It really is insane. But the more you think about it, it's a great way to get into motorsport. And I've been doing these bits on iRacing and stuff like that, and it's hard stuff. It's hard work, and I've been finding it really, really useful for just keeping sharp, because the driving part of it is irrelevant. You're not going to get anything from that. But that little bit of somebody's on your bumper, they're catching you by 2/10 a lap, and you've got 4 laps left. Oh, the pressure that you're feeling, and don't make a mistake, don't go run wide. It's exactly the same that you're getting in. It's exactly the same that you're getting in reality, and it's just keeping it relevant. So, I think we, as motorsport, if you want to call it that, have led the way in terms of fan engagement for our sport, because nobody else has been able to do it. Football haven't been able to do it. Rugby haven't been able to do it. Golf haven't been able to do it. We've still been able to do it. We've still been able to race. And it's been brilliant.
Yeah, it is. It's unbelievable, isn't it? It's definitely, and it's opened everyone's eyes with the lockdown as well. How it's unbelievable. Tom, let me take you back to the genetic days, mate. Years in the G50 Cup and then the 55s. You've always, and it's never been like, I know it's not easy for you now, but you've worked hard, you've got good deals, but it wasn't easy at first, was it? And you had to miss rounds, you didn't complete seasons, but there was quite a bit of help along the way when you had to prove yourself with the KX Academy. I remember. Was that the year that you won the championship?
Yep. So yeah, that was 2013. So yeah, go back. So my first year in cars was 2009, when it was the G20s.
I've driven one of them.
Oh my goodness me! But they got me on the grid, and that's all that matters. So I did. How many did I do? So it was Dad and me that ran the car because we couldn't afford to do it. I did one test day. So I finished karting in 2008. The only way we could afford to go racing in Ginettas was Dad got made redundant from the company that he was at for, I think he'd been there 20 odd years. So Dad got made redundant, and with his redundancy, he went, should we go buy one of them Ginettas? Yeah, man, let's do it. So his redundancy packet bought the G20, but then we had no money to do anything with it. We just had a car. And then it was like, right, how are we going to go about doing anything? How are we going to go about test? So I did one test day before the start of the year out of karting. So you imagine, like, that would never happen now. It would never happen now. So I left karting. I did one test day at Landau, not even a circuit.
I've been there. It's full of crap banks.
I did one test day at Landau, Brands Hatch. Oh, what's this? That's a gear lever, Tom. Oh, yeah, I remember that from Landau. 3 months ago that I did. Proper in at the deep end. But like I said, couldn't really afford to do it. I qualified pole at Alton, like on my 4th race weekend, by half a second. I've no idea how. It was one of them laps that I went, you could do it again. No. I don't know where it came from. I must have cut a corner. Or somebody must have got it wrong on a stopwatch. So qualified on pole. And then we had somebody spun coming through. So with the junior stuff, everyone's seen the junior stuff. It's crazy racing. It was no different back then. I came through Cascades. So I was right up behind somebody. Somebody span on the exit curb and stopped because there's not enough momentum. They just kind of span and stopped. And then the car, it was Jake Hill actually, dodged right. And I was like, there's a car there. And I hit him. It was a fairly big one. And that ruined us really. We couldn't afford to repair the car. In a weird sort of way, we couldn't afford to insure the car, so we couldn't afford to repair the car in a weird sort of way. Remember people go, it's only £1,000 to insure the car for a race weekend. I didn't have £1,000 to insure the car for a race weekend. So what am I going to do? Hope I don't shunt. So that sort of took us out for the next few races really. So we only did 6 rounds of a 10-round series, and then Lawrence Tomlinson really, really helped for the following year because we launched the G40s, or the G40 came out, and we've got a fantastic deal, and they really, really helped us out to get me on the grid. I had a chance meeting with Richard Ollerenshaw from Hill Speed, did a deal with them. Off we went for 2010 season. Not a lot next to bugger all money at all.
Seb Morris was your teammate, proper peddler?
Yeah, Seb was my teammate. That was Seb's first year. It was my first full year, but my second year, really. And we won the championship. I don't know how. Just consistency. I think I won 6 races that year, but it was just consistency. And it was Jake Hill and me, that battling wheel to wheel all year long. And again, this doesn't happen now. My damage bill for the entire year, whole year, 400 quid.
What? Because you were out.
No, I just didn't shunt. I just didn't crash into anyone because I couldn't afford to repair the car. My biggest damage bill of a whole race weekend was at Knock Hill, and it was 238 quid for a sump guard and a right front headlamp glaze because I just nipped one of the tyre stacks. That was it. That was the most amount of damage I had all year because I couldn't afford to repair the car, and I knew that if I had one shunt, that was me out. Couldn't do it.
That is absolute fake news. There is no way I'm believing
It's McDonald Trump again. You are fake news.
I would do 238 quid just pulling a dog ring wrong off the gearbox coming out of the pits.
On an outlap, yeah.
On an outlap, mate. Oh, that is unreal. But, I mean...
So, yeah, going back to that. So, 2013 was the year that I won the G55 championship, the GT Supercar. Year previous to that, I'd done a deal with a company called SkySig, and SkySig were an electronic cigarette brand. So I was the first kind of motorsport to get e-cigs into motorsport, which was really cool. And that again was just through badgering people until they eventually go, oh, shut up, just give him some money and tell him to go away. And it really worked for him because that carried through into BTCC my first year. But we started 55s. I won the G50 championship year previous. Did G55s with Steve Hunter with JHR Developments, who are a mega team. And I got halfway through the year. Money was tight, as it always was. And I can't remember exactly who it was, but somebody said to me at Alton Park, head down to the Toka tent because Jason's doing a talk. He's launching this program. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. I'll pop along. So I went and stood in the Toka tent, and Jason and Heidi and David Beardmore and a few other people were all in there chatting away, saying they're going to launch a KX Academy. And the KX Academy at the time was going to help fund underfunded drivers. Now, it wouldn't pay for your whole season. It would top up what you were short. So if you needed 20 grand, it was 20 grand. If you needed 50 grand, it was 50 grand. Whatever it was that you needed topping up, but you had to prove it. It's like similar to the Porsche thing. You had to prove that you could get some money in the first place. And did a bit of work, sent some emails off, sent the application in. I think I'd kind of get that far with it, and had a phone call of Croft Race Weekend. Random number on my phone. That's weird. Answered it. Hi Tom, it's Jason. Who? Plato. What? Who? How'd you get my number? This is amazing. And he said, I'm really pleased to tell you, you've been awarded the KX Academy. You are our first KX Academy member, if you like. And there was Steph Hodgetts and me. We were the two first guys that got onto it. And it was at Croft, and he said, we're going to go and do a photo shoot. And if anyone's eating their dinner now, just stop, because it's a bit of a funny story. So it came in, and on the Saturday night, I think it was, Jason said, right, meet us down at the sort of the Access Perimeter Road. We're going to drop in the helicopter, and we're going to go off and going to have a photo shoot at a local, at some sort of local pub or some sort of local venue. I can't remember what it was, a golf club. Doesn't matter. So anyway, get him. Off we go. This is wicked. This is welcome. So anyway, fly in, drop in, have all the photos done, and Jacob Ingram was there with us as well. Do all the photos, blah 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 blah. Get back in the helicopter to come back. And Heidi, Jason, and Jacob, I think it was, got in first. Like, oh no, this is not good, because they all sat facing the right way. I got in and was sat backwards. So when you get in a taxi and you sat back to the thing, I'm thinking, this isn't good. Now I get really bad motion sickness. I still do now. I can't hack it at all. It's awful. So anyway, it's a 10-minute flight. Off we go. I'm not feeling so good here. Oh, I'm feeling a bit. How long till we land? 4 minutes. Copy that. Thank you. How long till we land? 2 minutes. And at this point, I'm thinking, I ain't gonna make this. This is gonna happen. And so when you get to the point, you're like, you get the really dry mouth, you can feel it there. I'm like, oh god, no! Oh god, no! So right, how long? I'm stood up at the door at this point. He was like, sit down. We got a minute to go. They're still 1,000 foot up. I can't. I'm gonna chunder. It's gonna happen. I've now got sick in my mouth. It's disgusting. I've got sick in my mouth. I've got in this beautiful helicopter that turns out it was Prince Charles' helicopter. So I'm in there now with a mouthful of vomit, going, this is far from ideal. This is probably the worst moment of my life at this point. Like I don't know. And Jacob's looking at me like, don't you dare let any of that go. Steph's looking at me going, don't you dare let any of that go. At the same time, they're going, that's disgusting. You've just been sick. So they're giving it. I'm like, let me out. So we get about 30 seconds of landing. I've still got the mouth full of it. And I dropped down. I'm like, straight out. Oh, it was honestly the single worst moment of my entire life. Like, just awful, horrendous.
I never. What did JP say? Was Plato fuming?
No. So we had to drop them off on the way. So it was a 10-minute flight. So had we not have had to drop them off, I'd have been fine. But it was a 10-minute flight plus like a 2-minute diversion to drop them off as well. So had we not dropped them off, I'd have been absolutely fine. But it was that absolute critical moment. Like, oh, awful. Absolutely awful.
That is unbelievable. And you still kept the sponsorship deal because
yeah,
the
man.
car?
Yeah.
Every cloud. That is unbelievable. I never knew that, and we speak quite a bit. I've never heard.
Jacob still says about it to this day. Actually, so is Steph. It's a really funny story actually. But yeah, that sort of grew and grew and grew really with the KX Academy stuff, and that was a really really big part of my career, because it kind of, in a weird sort of way, it gave me loads of confidence that actually what I'm doing is correct, and how I'm going about my racing is the right sort of way. And you know, I used that connection and rinsed it. Every single opportunity I got, I jumped at it. And Jason and Heidi would put on sort of workshops, like monthly workshops, and that could vary from media training to fitness, which ironically Jason didn't turn up for, and all the other bits and pieces that were good. And I would maximise the opportunity. I would ask question after question after question. I'd just shut up, stop talking. But I want to know. I've got this opportunity. Let me have every single snippet of it. And I just took it for every single thing I could, and it was incredibly useful. It was a real life changing moment, because it got me ready for now. It got me ready for the moment I'm at now, where had I not have had that, I'd have felt so underprepared to move into touring cars, because I didn't know how you'd go about doing this or going about doing that. And having Jason at the end of a phone was fantastic. I could phone him up and say, what do I do about this? I'll do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. And it could vary about all sorts of stuff. And I still speak to Jason for advice, even to this day. I've still, when I was going for the championship in 18, I phoned Jason up. What do I do? What do I do? How do I go into a championship? How do I go to Brands Hatch for the last race weekend of the year, nearly able to win the championship? What do I do?
That is very interesting, that, Tom, because I was going to ask you, the relationship will have changed with Jason through those years, from KX Academy to race first ever Rockingham, getting his respect, battling for the championship in 2018, asking him. And one thing I find with Jason Plato, who is Marmite to a lot of people, is I can find him quite difficult when I raced with him, but he's the first person to ring you to say well done if you've done a good job.
Yeah. Oh yeah. After that Rockingham race, Jason and I were chatting away all evening, just about all sorts of stuff. But I've got nothing but respect for Jason, because he's laid down the blueprint for us all to follow. He has. It was one of the first things he said to me at the KX Academy, which ironically, this is where the Ingram stuff comes in. One of the first things he said to me at the KX Academy was, get yourself a brand, stick to it. Don't deviate. Because you can't deviate. So either be the horrible bugger that no one likes, or be the outspoken one, or be the funny one, or be this, or be this, or be this, and stick to it. Because once you got that, you can't change. And I've tried to stick to me. I've tried to stick to me. I've not tried to put on any different front. I've not tried to change. I've not tried to go for the villain. I've not tried to go for anything else but just me, because it's easy then. For Jason, he wanted to go down that, should we call it pantomime villain? That's his brand. Away from it, he's totally different. The same as when you speak to Matt Neal, Gordon, you speak to anyone that's been successful in touring cars, it's a brand. That's what's really important. But he was really, really helpful to me. Really, really helpful to me. And I will be forever grateful to him for what he did to me, because he did keep my career going. And you can see that a little bit with that race that we had with Jason and I at Silverstone last year, that we both knew exactly what we were doing. The reason that we were banging mirrors down the main straight was because we knew the TV cameras would follow us.
Yeah.
If I just went for it was a clean move, but if I just went for a move that was miles away, the TV cameras wouldn't put that in the highlights reel. But we both knew that if you bang a little bit of mirrors and you get a bit of argy-bargy, what the camera's going to repeat at the end of the race. That.
Has he ever said to you that you remind them of a younger Jason Plato with how you go about your business and stuff?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, it's such a different sport now, isn't it? From when Jason was starting, he tells that fantastic story of coming and badgering Sir Frank about driving the car for him. That doesn't happen now. It's a totally different business altogether. So there are bits naturally that will cross over, but for the most part, I think we've got respect for how we've gone about our business, because at the same time, I've not team hopped. I've not tried to get quick wins. We've just put in good relationships, or we've made good relationships work, and we've put hard work into that as well. And good relationships and hard work, it's easy.
I've asked you this question before, and you've actually linked me up. Actually, you've teed it up a treat. You've been with Speedworks a long time, since you first come in. I can't remember you having direct teammates. I know you had Simpson in the FK2 Honda, but that wasn't really, you couldn't compare. Rob Austin, Simon Belcher. But again, they weren't really, I don't know what the data sharing situation was. But your relationship with Speedworks, I think for me, was so strong, and it still is. But the way it was shown off was when I heard, and I've asked you this before, when I heard that at the end of 2015, you got asked to join WSR and represent IHG in Andy Prio's vacant seat, which probably, I'm thinking, would have worked really well commercially. But you dropped that and stayed with Speedworks, and you'd only had a podium, I think. You'd had 2 podiums by then?
2 podiums, yep.
Yeah, I was literally thinking, what is he doing? Like, Speedworks, Steph, love Christian and Amy, but I thought he knows something I don't. And you turned up at Brands, pole, win, and I thought, yeah, I think he knows what he's doing. But tell me what happened. I'm sorry for asking that, but
no, it's fine. I felt quite smug in that first race weekend, actually, when we kind of went, it's all right, we got this. Yeah, and that's not the only deal that I've turned down. You know, I've turned down probably 4 or 5 like that, because they've not been right. And I'm a firm believer in working to get it, and not just jumping into something and get it. I want to win the championship from hard work, not from just going in the best car, because anyone can do that. We can, go and knock on WSR's door tomorrow and say, "Go drive your car," and whatever they'd say, and I know it's got a chance at winning the championship. But surely it's better to have worked for it.
Yeah, definitely, mate. And
I've got such a great relationship with Christian and Amy and all the lads that we've got, Spencer and Jack and everyone that we've got at Speedworks. I would feel bad to have got to the end of that year and gone, "Mega, I've had some podiums. See ya. Bye-bye. Thanks for getting me to where I am now. See you later on." Because that's not how it works. I couldn't think of anything worse than dropping them at that point. And, we've worked so hard to get to this point. Let's not lose it now, because, we've been here since 2014, and our sort of rise through the ranks, if you want to call it that, has been fantastic. We went from that first year, that 2014, when the car wasn't great. It was an old, heavy car. It was chassis number 00000, the one that Tomo had pretty much done the development in.
Old.
Yeah, it was a tank. So I rocked up for that first race weekend in 2014 and stuck it 6th on the grid. It was like, whoa. But at that point, like, I believe in myself and I believe in the guys around me. We can turn this into something. So that was year 1. 2015 comes and goes. We get the first podium. And 2016 was a real turning year for me, because Tim was really critical of me of that year. I'm this hot-headed kid who
Tim Harvey.
Was, and he won't mind me saying, because, we've had the conversation before, he's this hot-headed kid. He doesn't think about the championship just after the race wins. Yeah, that's exactly what I was, because I'm trying to win races. I'm trying to win a championship, because we weren't in the position to challenge for a championship. And at that point in my career, I want to win races. I want to get podiums. I still do now. But you think about it long term. And at that point, it was like your mindset is about winning races and doing stuff like this, but not about championship, because it wasn't on. We weren't in the best financial place to challenge for an overall title. We could have had an outside chance at the independent, but again, that was tricky. So you're just trying to win races. And it wasn't until that sort of 2017 year that we kind of went, hang on a minute, actually, we've got a bit more budget in over winter. The car's better. I understand touring car racing a little bit more. Let's go for the championship. 2017, let's hit it, and let's see what we can do. Learn from the mistakes, learn from what we need to do, but change our tactics. We're not trying to win every race. We're going for a championship. And that we finished third that year by staying out of trouble, being fairly quick, nothing stand out, but quick. And then it's like 2018, well, we just go on what we've done previously. So so much is about learning and relationships and getting the people around you to work better. And I'm in a really great place now that Christian knows exactly how I work. I know how Christian works. Spencer, my engineer, knows how I work. I know how he works. I don't have to say anything to Spencer. I can get out the car and he can take one look and go, not very good, is it? No. And he can get one, two and go, you like that, didn't you? And I don't have to say anything. You can just see straight away, because we've worked with each other that long that we know what we want. And I can say to him, I want the car to do this. So you like it when the car does that and that and that. So we could do this, 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 and this. And that only comes with time and relationships. That only comes from forging relationships with good people. I couldn't have got that if I went to WSR, because I'd have to say to him, no, I like a car that's really positive on the front. I don't really care what the back does. Oh, okay. Well, does he like it when it does this? Does he like it when it does that? With Speedworks, it's easy. We know we all know how we work, and we all know when we're having a bad day how to get the best out of people. And that is what's really important, because you know what touring car racing's like. You don't have 3 good races. It's very rare that you have 1 good race. So when you are having a bad day, you need to know how to get the people around you pumped up and come on, let's do it. Come on. Yes, we finished 18th in race 1. We can get a top 5 in this next race, though, can't we? Because we've not got any ballast. We've got this. We've got this. Oh yeah. And it's just about relationships. It's getting the best out of people through time.
A massive thing, isn't it? And talking of that relationship, how Spencer's a great guy. And when I drove for Speedworks for a one-off race in 2012, Spencer was quite a quiet lad, and I know that's his natural demeanour.
Yeah.
Very clever fella.
Oh.
But Christian Dick in the background, I've popped my head into one of your debriefs and you didn't mind me being there. I was waiting for an interview with ITV with you. I couldn't get my breath how much input that Christian actually has. He's a very fast driver in his own right, but very clever guy and knows exactly what the score is. And people who know him think he's a nutter, but he is an exceptional guy. And his wife, Amy, probably the 2 of the nicest people in British touring cars, aren't they?
Well, we all have our little strengths in the debriefs, and that's what's really good, is because I can put my input into how I want the car to feel. Spenny can put the engineering side onto it and goes, well, you like it like this, and we've used this in the past. Why don't we try this? And Christian will meet in the middle with a engineering head and a racer's head and go, no, that's not right. It needs this. You deal with that. Well, okay. If we set it up like that, you just have to deal with it. Oh, okay. Yeah, fine. And Spenny will then counter-react that, and I'll counter-react. So it's not been unusual. I'll counter-react to what I said earlier on about overthinking things. But it's not been unusual for us to still be at the track at sort of 10, half 10 at night if we've had a difficult day, going through ideas. Why don't we try this? Why don't we try that? And, you know, for a single car team, we kind of have to do that because we haven't got the ability to go, as a good example, Andrew, you go and try that. Tom, you go and try that. Colin will go and try that. Set up A, B, and C. What do you like? I like the initial turning of C, the middle of B, and the exit of A. Perfect. There's your car. Whereas for us, we can't do that. We have to work hard, and we have to just put the work in to get the most out of it. So sometimes it comes very easy, and we turn up and go, need a little bit of that and a little bit of that. Bingo, that's where we are. Sometimes we go, this is difficult. We're a long way off here. And it's hard. And that's where you have to put the work in. And that's where you have to have the ability to be able to talk to everyone else around you honestly, and not BS, not use, you know, I'd like to think myself very honest and open with it. If I messed up, I'll just say, you know, I don't want to turn around and say, no, that was definitely the car. Well, you missed the apex at Paddock Hill and then you locked up at Druids. No, but the car didn't allow me to do that. Yeah, I messed up. So that's where the time is. And I think when you're open and honest with the people around you, very easy. Very, very easy. Because there's no lying. There's no hiding anything. That's what it is.
Well, that leads me on to my next question then. And this would have been felt as a team. How hard was Knock Hill Race 2 in the wet? Disqualified, ride out infringement.
I don't know what you're talking about. What happened?
Did you feel like it was over when you got disqualified for the championship?
What are you on about, mate? What are you talking about?
Have you blanked it out?
Like, wow.
Your near title win, mate.
I just see Jim Hersey's just come on, and Jim was a great member of the team. Actually, Jim really taught me a lot about not hitting a rev limiter. That was really good. What was your question, Paul? Yeah, Not Killed 2018. That was a proper. That was a bit of a kick in the dick. That it was hard. It was hard, but that's life. I've got to turn back time. Yeah, I've got a Sky Plus remote to rewind time. That's what it is. Get on with it. You know, I did. I don't know if you've ever worked with anyone. I started working in 2018 with a guy called Nessie. Now, Nessie is an angry Scottish man, and Nessie is a proper sports psychologist. He knows his stuff and gets the very best out of people because he just says it as it is. And I love him. Honestly, he's terrifying, but he's brilliant. And I get on like an absolute house on fire with him. Really, I've got loads of respect. And Nessie was fantastic, and he really changed my outlook on life, actually. And it's going to be a real cliche piece of love thing to say, but really changed my outlook on life, where things not gone your way, so it doesn't matter. Sort it out. Is it in your control? So a real good moment of that is towards the back end of the year. It was like Colin, myself, Ash. The first thing I'd do is get out the car. Where are they? Where are they on the timesheets? And they'd be like, what does it matter? Well, I want to know where they are. Did you drive the car the best you could? Probably not. I left a little bit on the table. Drive faster then. If you've maximised everything you can do, what does it matter what anyone else has done? Oh, yeah, it's a good point. So it got to the point I wasn't looking where anyone was. Just get out the car. I know that I've done the best job I can, so it doesn't matter where anyone else is because I can't do any more. I can't control what Colin's doing. I can't control what Ash is doing. Crack on. And a really good moment of that was like Snetterton. Race 1. Race 1, we had an alternator failure. And at that point, it was like I was leading the championship. Colin was leading it. I was leading it. Colin was leading it. I was leading it. And it got to the point that I'd really got some points on Colin in that first race. And we're going to really take a nice little lead going into the second, going into race 2, race 3. And we had an alternator failure. What a kick. And rather than getting to the point of, throw your toys out the pram, race weekend's over, that's it, done, championship's over, I may as well call it a day now. It was like, you can sort it out for race 2. So what? Race 1's happened. What does it matter? You still got 2 more races. Sort it out in the next 2 races. So that's where he was really useful because it got to the point that it doesn't matter. You can't turn back what's happened. So why get stressed about it? Doesn't matter. Sort it out.
Amazing advice, and it sounds so simple. And I know, do you know, it reminds me of my old teammate James Thompson, who you'll know of. Great guy, very good friend of mine. Whenever we had a bad car at a certain circuit, or something had happened, he would say, listen, mate, you've just got a wee with the willy you've got. But he obviously said it in swear words. So right, because you just do your best, and that is all people can ask of you, isn't it? All you can do.
Right. And you're absolutely right. It's such a simple thing, like, of course. But if you look, I try not to get flustered. I try not to get stressed. I try not because, I try to take it into everyday life. Can I control the situation I'm in? Yeah. All right. Well, I'll control it. Can I control coronavirus? No. So, don't know anything about it. Just chill out. Do what they tell you to do. That's all you can do. No point getting stressed about it because I can't do anything about it. It's things like that. It's completely changed my outlook on life. It is to take that stand and take that mentality moving forwards. And it's really helped me. It's really, really helped me.
Do you know what? You're absolutely bang on. That is a very good summary of it. Using this horrendous pandemic, there's nothing you can do. Is that there is nothing you can do, and that is you try your hardest. And if your hardest is good enough, then that's you. If it's not, then you try harder again and you go again. It's unreal.
All you got to do is maximise the opportunities given to you and try your hardest. It's as simple as that. And do it with a smile on your face and have a beer. That's all that matters.
Yeah, in that piano bar. I'm just going to ask one question, mate, because we'll have to go at 7 because it'll shut off after an hour. It's been absolutely amazing, mate. Tom, I really appreciate your time. But Seb Morris joined and was like, all right, boys, massive fan. Waller Bloke has asked one. It's a good one, actually. Tom's mentioned previously that the Corolla has struggled a bit with curves at certain circuits. How do you develop, and will it impact on maybe its other strengths?
Should we speed through these, get loads of questions in?
What, speed through?
Let's speed through some questions to get loads in. How do we make it better? Make it better over the curves. Next.
Right, next one. I'll go with that, mate. What else have we got? People just saying they're loving your attitude, mate. What else have we got? How much involvement has Gazoo Racing been in with Speedworks? It's had a lot of success in other forms of motorsport. That's from BTCC House of Memes, or memes, meanies.
Memes! Listen to you. That's a mem.
All right, Dad.
What's Gazoo? So Gazoo have been really good because it's opened us up to a global platform. You know, we've gone from being a little national team to now being an international team that's noticed by the global platform. We've got the same resources now. We haven't quite got the same resources, but we've got the same. You know, we've got the same ability now to use the resources of the sort of the Germany side. And I went out and did some simulator work with them on their LMP1 car, and I've gone out and done the GT4 stuff with the Supra. Just opens it up to a new world.
Okay, mate. Listen, last one. How proud are your mum and dad of you? Do you think?
Oh, they love it. They love it. And you know what? How long we got?
You've got 4 minutes.
They've sacrificed so much. Everyone will have come on here and said their parents have sacrificed loads. But you know, from right the way back when they remortgaged their house, they gave up their Dad gave up his redundancy pay to get me racing. They've given up everything, and it's been really hard for them in the last few years because it's been a totally different dynamic that's changed as well. It's gone from being Dad, Mum, and me against the world to all of a sudden Mum and Dad sat on the sidelines having a beer in hospitality, watching me kind of take over. So it's been hard for them, but look, it's been amazing because my mum and dad come along to every single race, and they just adore the atmosphere, and they just love coming along to it, and they are incredibly proud. And I'm incredibly proud that I've got them as my parents who can come and enjoy it and you know, enjoy the race weekend with my mum and dad. It's fantastic.
Hey, listen, mate, I absolutely love your mum and dad. They're the first people who, when I go over to the Speedwork garage, make sure I just go and say hi to the guys and the girls. They're the first people over. They always want to chat. They always see how I am. So they're absolutely grand. Listen, Tom, I've had a countdown. 1 minute 50 is remaining until it shuts off. But just tell everybody again, for the people who've joined, your YouTube channel, get involved. I've seen some of your vlogs. They're brilliant. It goes from kits. It goes to do with sponsorship. What is it about, mate? What is it? What do you
we've done stuff from sponsorship. We've done stuff on what's in my kit bag. We've done stuff how I prepare for race weekends by looking at videos and how we study data. So there's loads of stuff on my Instagram at the minute. So when you finish watching this, go over onto my Instagram. There's a link at the top of it of the last video, which is from the BRDC Esports Championship, actually. So click on that. It'll take you to my channel. There's loads of stuff. You can kill the evening watching my big chubby chops chatting away.
I adore doing these for Pitch BTCC, the Nevermind the Ballast, but you tonight have been informal, brilliant, funny. I've loved it, mate. It's been a pleasure to watch you get to the top of that tree, and hopefully we're going to see you be the champion one day. I'm sure that'll happen, mate.
I do hope so. Thank you very much for your time, mate. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We'll hopefully get back to a bit of racing, and hopefully we'll see all you guys soon.
Yes, we will, Tom. Nice one, mate. Peace out, boy.
Perfect. Love you guys. See you later.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.